What is that?
This is like what I'm going to hold up, you know.
Okay.
And talk about. And it's like this right here. I'm going to start with this.
Who are you?
Because I'm Christopher Trian. And I am a photo expressionist.
What is a photo expressionist?
A photo expressionist means that I work often with photos. And I work all the time with photos. And to give you an example, here's a picture of Bob Marley. Okay? And this isn't the painting from that photo, but...
It's from another photo?
Yeah, but here's a picture of Bob Marley that I did from this photo. And I have a company called Portraits of People and Pets. And my website is ChristopherTrian.com. ChristopherTrian.com. And if you go to the website, it gives you an email. We're changing that. The email there says chris@ChristopherTrian.com. Well, there's a problem with that. So my email address is Chris_Trian, Trian, at yahoo.com. And I have some other YouTube videos up under Chris Trian, if you go to YouTube. And also I'm on Facebook currently. But this is an example of photo expressionism. And I do paintings like this as commission portraits. Give you a phone number right now.
But why the photograph? When David Hockney says that the photograph is dead, that painters should stay away from the photograph.
Well, I don't listen.
That's bastard photograph. You don't listen to other painters?
I don't listen to other painters. And I try to work with photos that are in the public domain for obvious reasons. One, people can get into some issues. But
so you're worried of the copyright?
Yeah,
I got into trouble once.
But there are found photos that I find in magazines that I think would be okay to paint. Plus, I've got a camera now, and I take pictures of people. When I do commission portraits of like family portraits, I get the people to take the picture, or I take the picture.
Now, I saw one of your videos. You said that the only kind of paintings when you put a lot of paint on. Well, I don't use much paint, so I figured you were talking about. You were saying I'm not a painter because I paint on the photograph, and there's not enough paint. No, that's not what you meant.
No, we're egomaniacs, us painters, and so we tout our own work. And if I ever say something is real art or my painting is the only way to paint, that's a purely subjective statement. I am open to all kinds of art. I like abstract art. I love your work. You can see over there, there's a Sex Goblin by Stephen, a friend of his, and got a lot of your work. And I think you're one of the most original, if not the most original, creative painters around in your approach. But whatever I said about putting paint, I just say what I feel like saying.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Like I'm doing now. Let me give you my phone number here. Area code 415-205-1057. If anybody would be interested in commissioned work, dial me up. And so enough from the business point of view. Photo expressionism, working from a photo, and getting in there with brushstroke and color, and working from the photo. I paint with three stages usually. I paint the picture, then I paint it again, and then I paint it again to give it depth. So you have color in here that may have been from the first time that I painted.
But you do it opaque. You don't use washes.
I pretty much use raw paint.
So they like sometimes in the thinner areas, there'll be like a wash.
Yeah,
it'll be
thin areas.
opaque.
There'll be areas with hardly any paint. There'll be areas with paint. But the idea is kind of a Cézanne and Van Gogh combination. The brush strokes of Cézanne with kind of a Van Gogh feel.
Yeah, the depth comes out, the color blends together, pops. You see the color underneath, the color that's mixed,
right.
They overlap.
Now, a lot of these paintings that I do for people, they want more realistic than this. You know, so I do what the client wants. If they want a painting,
tell them to take a fucking photo
with just a, you know, not so much of this. I'm accommodating. You know, I mean, I'm not anything I create is my art. So if the people want it a certain way and they want it more realistic, it's still my art. However, as well as photo expressionism, which is like this, I am very inventive. So I come down here and I paint pictures that maybe aren't exactly photo expressionism that I would like to paint. Now here, this is the last thing I ever painted. I finished that last night, and it's just dry. And this is a picture my father painted.
Oh,
my father,
wow.
Stavros Trian, was an abstract expressionist in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and he died in 1988. Toward the end of his life, he got to be very figurative, and he got loose. This is a face that he invented, and this is a poem in Greek. And I don't read Greek, unfortunately I shouldn't, but it says something here, and this is his work.
Do you know if he knew a lot of the Bay Area figurative painters?
I don't know how many figurative painters he knew. He was good friends with the head of the Fred Martin from the Art Institute, when Fred Martin was the head of the San Francisco Art Institute, and he was good friends with Ferlinghetti, who's still with us.
Did he know Diebenkorn?
He knew Diebenkorn, he knew de Kooning, he knew those people back in the day, but his life took him in the direction of painting in his studio and not selling many of his own work. He painted for himself.
But was he known for painting?
But he was known he was known for his abstract expressionist work. When he started painting figurative, he wasn't as known for that, but toward the end of his life he had a show down on Union Street where he showed a lot of these works, and these were what he passionately felt like painting toward the end of his life. They're smaller and they're loose. Now, I consider him to have a sensitivity and to color and everything far beyond me. He was my mentor, my greatest influence, but I'm loosening up too. So we have this picture here, which I did last night. It's just on wood, and I wasn't copying that or anything.
Yeah, it looked
I was just
similar.
Making up a face with negative space and positive space and different experimental things.
Looks like Lenny Bruce.
It could be Lenny Bruce on his last thing. Here's the second to last picture I did.
Whoa!
And this one, this is invented faces. No photograph was used with this picture, but you can see some of the influence from Stavro. My father, Stephen, Trian. The family name is Triantophilos.
Greek?
Greek. We come from Kalamata, where the olives came from.
Oh.
And they still do. Olive oil and olives, Kalamata olives.
What do you think about the collapse of Greece?
Oh, it breaks my heart. It breaks my effing heart, because I'm not able to go to Greece right now, but if I was, I probably wouldn't recognize it. I was there with my father's ashes when he died, and put him on the family plot along with my mother's in Kalamata, and it was like paradise.
Wow!
And that was in '89.
But you've been since.
But I went once after that, and I got my pocket picked.
Yeah. Hey, they got to survive, tough times.
It was a little different experience. I don't want to say anything. And this was even before the crisis in Greece.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to be there painting.
I have family in Greece.
I wonder if you were there, if it would affect your work. If you were painting
I'm sure
in Greece now.
It would bring the light of Greece.
Well, that's going to happen here in the United States. Exactly the same thing. So maybe our work will improve.
I tend to do well. I tend to do well when times are rough. I don't know why, but the artists are like that. Now here, you see, it's hard to explain what you're doing in a painting. Free.
It's not verbal.
This is just free. Negative space, positive space, colors and depth, and a made-up face. I really love the work of Haim Soutine, and so Soutine is kind of a somebody I look at. To show you something different, also, which this was in a show that we had with you, the last show that I did with you, Stephen.
Yeah, it's a True Art.
The True Art show. This one. Now let's see what we have here.